The intention for the India Connection is to transition in the next couple months to interviews with Indian viewers, friends, colleagues, collaborators, hopefully some famous people over the course of the next year, and do it weekly. But in order to do that, I want to have a few interviews in the can, like 5 to 6, or maybe a month and a half ahead, so that we're not just doing one and then Ford gets distracted with work and stuff. There's just too much work going on. But today we wanted to address something. We've been getting this question a lot from Indians about gun violence in America and where our stance is. So this is our official statement.
This is our official statement. This is what we're about.
A human being is not a god. A human being has to make decisions about what you're going to prioritize. And for too long, I have tried to do everything. And my soul has gone searching for 100,000 causes and died on every hill. I've got to fix myself. So that's what this channel is about. And so this is our official statement on the mass shootings problem in America, which is definitely a problem.
Yeah, and this official statement is kind of like, this is what we're about, and this is what we can do, and this is the part that we can play. So here it is.
We had a comment about the Second Amendment and gun control after the school shooting. When we went to India, our goal was to keep it creative, cross-cultural, and constructive. It was not to shine a light on all the bad things that were happening in India. When the Delhi rape case happened, also later on the pollution problem of India, I responded in defense of India, not because I'm a cuck, but because I like context. If, caring about context makes you a cuck, then just call me a cuck. I don't care. I think it's unfair to judge a nation of 1 billion people on the actions of the worst actors. And so I don't call Indian men rapists or sex offenders or sexual harassers. I call the sexual harassers. And so I feel like what media has gotten into this habit of doing is taking this part for the whole hypothesis and applying it to everything. When we always make it about the bad actors within a community or within a group, then it just ends up becoming this race to the bottom. It just becomes muckraking. I think most of our political process is muckraking from America to India and beyond. I think most of our journalism is muckraking. It's basically gossip enshrined as a virtue. And this is not to make light of these people's deaths. I'm not trying to do that, but there is no band-aid for the solution. And, we're trying to take a long-term approach to this. Mental health is causing this. And I think we will start to, and I agree that there's a lot of dishonesty, especially on the conservative right in America about this. There's a lot of dishonesty because it's this asymmetrical sort of making excuses for people who do it for mental health reasons. I think there are a lot of Muslim fundamentalist terrorists that are actually doing it for mental health reasons too. I think they're doing it because their society is shitting on them, and the imam who promises them a way out, a way to get revenge, blame it on the infidel. These are angry young men who don't have an outlet, and they've been given a purpose, and I think that unites a lot of angry young men around the world. And this is, I think mental health is at the root of a lot of this stuff all over the world, from America to Saudi Arabia to India to Afghanistan and beyond. I think there are men who are being leveraged politically, leveraged militarily, whether you're a terrorist, drug dealer on the street, a policeman, or a soldier, you're being leveraged and played as a pawn. And your mental health issues are making you a fertile ground for terror, for school shootings, taking bad orders and not saying no. You're killing innocent people. The Jason Bourne, the whole thing, the whole crux of Jason Bourne is, you're going to kill this guy, we're not going to tell you what he did. That does happen. I know it's fiction, but it does happen. We have plenty of cases where we have gone into bad wars. We're involved in bad wars right now. That's a form of terror, right? By just making this whole thing just about school shootings, this is one symptom of a much deeper problem that pervades the entire world. In Japan, they're killing themselves in a suicide forest. You can thank Logan Paul for letting everyone know about that. But before that, no one's talking about it. The per capita amount of Japanese committing suicide, it's astronomical. Again, mental health behind that. What am I doing about this? No, I'm not going to go. I didn't protest when I was in India. I didn't go march on the street saying, we got to kill these rapists. I'm not going to protest here either. What am I trying to do? Creative, cross-cultural, and constructive. I'm trying to take a long-term view of this. And I'm trying to fix myself because I'm a mental health case. I could have been one of those guys. So my dad is one of these people. You want to know a stone cold killer? He's living downstairs. He's killed a man with a gun. So I'm intimately acquainted with this. What am I doing? I'm not doing politics. I'm trying to fix myself, and I'm trying to find out, like, what can be done to help these angry young men not do this. Like, guys, they're crazy, but they're crazy for a reason. It's a symptom of something. They're human beings. They're really not monsters. They're human beings that have gone wrong. You know, I just will not tolerate this sort of attitude. Like, oh, Americans, you know, look at Americans just killing each other left and right. Well, you know about that because our media shares it with the entire world. Does the media talk about what happens with Naxalites in some area in India? Like, who knows about that in New York City? Nobody. Because your press doesn't do, doesn't, for some reason, that's not muckraking enough. They won't do it. I'm glad, actually, they're not talking about that, because then everyone would think, well, oh, man, everyone in India is a thug. You know, that's what would be the next thing. I hate that sort of stuff. Let's not talk about all the bad things. It's not proving a solution. We've been talking about this 20 years. What's the solution? It just keeps getting worse on the left and right. We got left terrorists now. You know, shot up a bunch of conservatives in Las Vegas. And I'm actually fine with calling them all terrorists. That's fine. And people say, well, if it's a white person, not a terrorist. Timothy McVeigh was a terrorist. The Unabomber was a terrorist, white guys. And there are black rampage shooters. Go look up Lee Malvo and John Lee Muhammad. They were called rampage killers. They were mentally unstable. Like, this is a problem that pervades, you know, people all across the world. And so we are trying to take a constructive long-term view and how I can fix myself to hopefully help people deal with this. So that's our motto. We're not going to, if it bleeds, it leads our way to stardom or to monetary success. We're done with that. We're not going to follow Logan Paul's route of, you know, taking a selfie in front of a dead person. Like, that's cynical and sick. And but that's just a reflection of the if it bleeds, leads mentality that has characterized news in the Western world for the last 50 years. Like, he's just a reflection of that mentality. So, no, we're not going to sit here and talk about every single school shooting that happens.
There's a deep, deep issue here. The school shooting happened. It's a sad, bad thing. But we're trying to build a better me. And then hopefully someone will see that and build a better them. That's really how the world is going to change, is by individuals getting their crap together.
This kid, the one that did the most recent one, he found a community online, and they were a community of like-minded, you know, people pushed against the wall and, you know, encouraged each other towards this sort of thing. So to catch these people before they turn into the monster, like, that requires one-to-one interaction. Like, the media, the government, the church, society can't stop it. Like, I think it's a peer-to-peer thing. Like, we have to, you know, help each other. And so it's just, show business can't save it and politics can't save it. I'm convinced of that. As far as starting a non-proof profit now, like, I feel like this is something that just has to be done in the warp and woof of life. You know, people that are lower in class or status in your place of work, like, treating them with dignity. You know, so many people just not treated with any dignity at all. This idea that I'm a better person because I make more money, or I'm a better person because I come from a better family. You know, I live on this side of the railroad tracks, or on this side of the river, or whatever. And, you know, I think we all can relate to that from America to India and beyond. So that about sums up our thoughts on the issues of gun violence in the U.S. I don't really want to talk about the politics on this channel. As far as people asking about gun control, this will be the one thing I'll say about that. Cody Wilson, you can go look him up on YouTube. This man exists. Vice News did a documentary about him years back. And back then he was trying to figure out how to 3D print guns, assault weapons. He'd started doing it in the course of making this video, but he's doing it now. Like, 3D printing them nonstop, and he's selling them on the black market. This guy is on Twitter. He's talking about this. I mean, he posts stuff all the time. I mean, everyone knows about this guy. Guys, it's a moot issue. If he's not doing it, somebody else is doing it. You can go through the gun ban if you want, but it's moot. He was actually hoping that the Florida legislator would pass the gun ban so he could sell his 3D printed guns on the black market. You would have to overturn the Second Amendment, and it's just not going to happen in America. I mean, best of luck. I mean, you can try, but it's not going to work. One of the founding principles of this country is that not only the king is going to have a sword. As long as combustion exists, projectile weapons will exist. You know, I'm sorry. Like, it's it's the world we live in. Like, you can't put this back into Pandora's box. I mean, you can try, by all means. I mean, go ahead and try. Someone's going to be 3D printing the guns, and people are going to be getting on the black market. When you try to prohibit something, you know, that's where we get the term prohibition from, and that formed the mob, right? Good intentions are great, and you want to do something, but I don't think that this is going to yield the results that you want in 20 years. I really don't. I think in always coming back to this same debate, we're talking about a symptom of the problem, not the root cause. In 2017, prescription drug overdose deaths were at over 16,000. This is prescription, legal drugs. 16,000 people died from an overdose. My dad was almost one of them. The underlying cause of mass shootings and prescription drug overdoses are the same: mental health. In a lot of cases, not every single case, but in a lot of cases, there are a lot of these mass shooters who are on psychotropic drugs. We're being told to talk about the symptom, which is guns, but mental health, I believe, is really the root cause. Some people will say, oh, you're just doing whataboutism. Why you're deflecting the issue? Well, I'm deflecting the issue because 16,000 people in 1 year, that's only from prescription drugs, not just from illegal drugs. When you add that in, it's 60,000 last year. 60,000 people. That is an epidemic. Mother Jones released a report from 1982 to 2018. Just in your mind, think about how many mass shooting deaths have there been in America in the last year, the last 5 years, the last 10 years. Form that picture in your mind. How many do you think it is? I mean, we see it in the news all the time. So whoever's watching this, just form the picture in your mind how many that is. Okay, the number is 816 since 1982. 1 year less than my age. 816. Guys, more people died in America last year from accidental drowning by an order of 3. About the same amount of people, women, died in Delhi last year from dowry death. Just in Delhi. We're talking about symptoms here. There's an underlying cause that's killing people and driving people so far over the edge of sanity that they're killing other people. I feel like building a better me is the only way that I can help out in that. I'm not going to get involved politically, and I'm not going to go out of my way to repeal the Second Amendment or talk about how gun control is a good thing. In a perfect world, yeah, why would we need guns? But I want to try to make myself as perfect as I can, try to help some other people from going down that road.